Aloha! I'm Ansel Clancy, internationally certified arborist and acting board member for the Maui Coffee Association. In this video, I'm going to teach you the very, very important skill of green coffee grading. And this is what separates good coffee from the best coffee. So let's dive in and see what these defects look like. First things first, you have your green coffee product. And as you can see here, we've made it all the way through the pulper, through the aging process, through the dry mill, and now we're really ready to do that final grade before the roast. So here's my product. I like to find a nice flat surface. Now, there are some really nice mechanical ways that you can grade coffee, but for those of us that grow coffee here in Hawaii, a lot of us are small-scale farmers that are doing this grading by hand. Now, the advantage of being by hand is really looking and caring for each one of these seeds. And when you put in that kind of attention, you really end up with some of the world's best coffees. So let's take a look. As I dive in here, I'm looking for uniformity. There's a whole slew of different defects that take place. Here's one. This one's called a shell. Now, those will come apart in the roast. Here's another one. This is an overripe. This one right here is called a partial black. A few of those in a sample are considered a full defect and will get you kicked out of a competition. Here's another partial black. I like to rotate my coffee so I can see all sides of it. Okay, here's a piece, meaning that it's a broken piece, literally, and another piece that's also partial black. One more chip. And here's a piece and a shell. Okay, now I could keep stirring this. Here's another piece, and I could keep sorting it. But for the purposes of this video, I'd like to talk to you about exactly what these are here. So this right here is most likely a little bit of mechanical damage. It's a broken coffee seed or bean. This right here is the piece and the shell. Now this is actually pretty cool, a little bit of coffee science for you. When you roast coffee, the coffee seed will actually crack twice and double in size during the roasting process. The first crack happens generally somewhere around just under 300 degrees, and it's an expulsion of the moisture within the coffee seed. And when that happens, it goes pop, and it pops open. Well, this piece and shell, when it pops like that, will actually separate. You no longer have a coffee seed. Now you have two wildly different shaped and sized pieces that are going to roast unevenly. Thus, a defect, the piece and the shell. I have another mechanical damage, a piece. A third piece with a little bit of dark coloring, which is called a partial black. Over here, I have a misshapen seed, and this I've heard called a malformed seed. I like to remove those because, again, they roast a little differently. These two are real big hitters that I want to talk about. They're called partial blacks. Now, for whatever reason, some coffee seeds, when they're developing in the fruit, will turn black. And a full black is considered a full defect on the Specialty Coffee Association scoring chart. So any of these blacks, you really want to get them out. And in this old school hand sorting method, they're really easy to see. If you're utilizing a mechanized optic sorter, they're also very easy to see, and that machine will sort these out at a capacity of about 2,000 pounds per hour. As we move along, we have two partial blacks. Over here, I have an overripe. Now this overripe is indicated by a little reddish color on the outside of the seed. It's from what's called silver skin. It's the layer that's between the parchment and the seed, and it has a reddish tint. That means this came out of an overripe cherry, and you can taste that in the cup. If you hand that to a certified judge, that's another defect. Lastly, just another shell. And if you recall, when we sorted it from the pile, it was already separated. So here are a handful of defects that you can stay on the lookout for. There are a few more, but if you get all these out of your coffee, you're on your way to some real specialty Hawaiian coffee.